Hi learners, in string functions, we are going to learn about position function. In position function, firstly we will see when we need to use the position function. Say for example, I have a string as a nick, and if I want to find the position of a C from nick, in this case I need to use a position function to find the position of a C, and it will return the position value 3 as the output. Secondly, we will see the syntax for position function. We have seen this example before now. With this example, I will explain the syntax for position function. If we take the syntax means the syntax contains a position function and it will take two input parameters. The first input parameter is a substring and the second input parameter is a string, where string means the original string. As per our example, nick is the original string. Substring means the substring for which we need to find the position. In our example, C is the substring for which we need to find the position. Once the position function has find the position of C as 3 means, it will return the position value that is 3 as the output. Thirdly, we will see the queries and definition. We will be solving around 4 queries. Now we will solve the first query from it. In this query, we need to find the position of R from the string Harvey Specter. So we need to solve this query by using position function. To solve this query by using position function, first thing we need to know is the syntax for position function. The syntax for position function is this now. So I'm using this syntax in mysql workbench. Since we need to find the position of R from the string Harvey Specter now, so instead of a substring, I'm substituting as a R. And instead of a string, I'm substituting with Harvey Specter. Now the position function will find the position of R from the string Harvey Specter as 3. And we need to return this 3 in the output now. So for that, I'm adding self comment at the beginning of this query. Now the query is done. First, I will explain how this query will work. But before that, we need to know how the characters in the string Harvey Specter are positioned. H will be in the first position, A will be in the second position. Like this, it will go on up to the last character, and R will be in the 14th position. If this is clear to you, now we will see the working part of this query. Inside the database, first the position function will get triggered and it will find the position of R from the string Harvey Specter as a 3. Now this 3 will be assigned as a position value. Then self command will get triggered and it will retrieve the position value from the database and display that value as the output. Now I will run this query by using Ctrl plus Enter key. The output what we have got in MySQL result grid is matching with our expected output. Now with the first query, I will explain the first point from the definition. Position function will find the position of a first occurrence of a specified substring from a given string and it will return the position value as the output. Now we will solve the second query. In this query, we need to find the position of Z from the string Harvey Specter. So the procedure will be same as like the first query. So I'm copying the first query and I'm pasting it here. I will make one change in this query. Instead of R, I'm substituting as Z. Now the position function will try to find the position of Z from the string Harvey Specter. Since Z is not present in the string Harvey Specter now, so the position function will return 0 as the output. Now the query is done. I will run this query and the output what we have got in MySQL result grid is matching with our expected output. With the second query, I will explain the second point from the definition. In position function, if the specified substring is not found within the given string, then it will return 0 as the output. Now we will solve the third query. In this query, we need to find the position of capital T from the string Harvey Specter. So the procedure will be same as like the first query. So I am copying the first query and I am pasting it here. I will make one change in this query. Instead of R, I am substituting with capital T. Now the position function will perform case insensitive search in Harvey Specter to find the position of capital T, and it will return the position of small t, that is 12, as the output. Now the query is done. I will run this query, and the output what we have got in MySQL result grid is matching with our expected output. With the third query, I will explain the third point from the definition. Position function will perform case insensitive search to find the specified substring from the given string, and it will return the position value as the output. Now we will solve the fourth query, but before that there are some prerequisite steps are there. Once we have completed those steps means then only we can able to solve the fourth query. The first prerequisite step is we need to create a company database. So I have created the company database by using the command create database company database. Now the company database has been created. If you want to see the company database in the schema tab means just right click on the schema tab and select refresh all. Now we can able to see the company database inside the schema tab. Step 2 is I need to select the company database. So I have selected the company database by using the command use company database. Step 3 is I need to create an employees table inside the company database. So I have created the employees table inside the company database, and these are all the columns that are present inside this employees table. Step 4 is I need to insert data into the employees table. So these are all the data that I have inserted inside this employees table. Since the prerequisite steps are completed now we can able to solve the fourth query. So what the fourth query is stating is from the employees table, we need to select the first name, last name, and then we need to find the position of E from last name for all the employees. Since we need to select the first name and last name no. So for these two columns, I'm typing as a select first name, comma last name, and then we need to find the position of E from last name for all the employees no. So for this column, we need to use a position function. To solve this column by using position function, we need to know the syntax no. The syntax is this no. So I'm using this syntax. Since we need to find the position of E from last name no. So instead of substring, I'm substituting with E. And instead of a string, I'm substituting with the last name. And we need to select these columns from the employees table no. So for this, I'm typing as a from employees table. Now the query is done. Before executing this query, first I will explain how this query will work. Then I will execute it and show the output. First, the from command will get triggered and it will select the employees table from the company database. Then select command will get triggered. And for the employee Leo, the select command will retrieve the first name as Leo. Then it will retrieve the last name as Corbett. And then it will retrieve the last name as Corbett and apply position function for Corbett. The position function has find the position of E from Corbett as 5. For the employee Shane, the select command will retrieve the first name as Shane. Then it will retrieve the last name as Clark. And then it will retrieve the last name as Clark and apply position function for Clark. The position function has find the position of E from Clark as 6. For the employee Casey, the select command will retrieve the first name as Casey. Then it will retrieve the last name as Rhodes. And then it will retrieve the last name as Rhodes and apply position function for Rhodes. The position function has find the position of E from Rhodes as 5. For the employee Scott, the self command will retrieve the first name as Scott, then it will retrieve the last name as Truman, and then it will retrieve the last name as Truman and apply position function for Truman. Since Truman doesn't contain the character E in it, no, so position function will return 0. For the employee Jack, the self command will retrieve the first name as Jack, then it will retrieve the last name as Landers, and then it will retrieve the last name as Landers and apply position function for Landers. Since Landers doesn't contain the character E in it, no, so the position function will return 0. So this is the final output we will get after executing the fourth query. Now I will run the fourth query, and the output what we have got in MySQL result grid is matching with our expected output. So that's all for today's video, learners. Thank you so much for watching.